Yesterday we spent 2.5 hours watching the inauguration. All of us were there with bated breath, and all we wanted him to do was just mention something about crypto, something about the strategic reserve, and guess what? Trump didn't mention anything about crypto. It's panic in the markets right now, and everyone's calling for the end of the bull market and whether Trump is going to stick to his election promises, and everyone is starting to panic. And what I don't like about this market, I don't like the fact that what Trump is doing is he's practically controlling the markets, whether it's through the meme coin that he's launching or whether the purchases that 𝗲𝗏𝗪𝗔𝗘 are making. Every move that Trump makes is pretty much now being watched by the market. And so what we're going to do today is we're actually going to look at what Trump is buying, and hint, it's a lot of ETH, and whether he's actually making the right move, and whether there are tokens that you can buy that actually beat him. That's what we're going to be doing today. So if you like that idea, obliterate the like button. Also, we're going to look at to see what Trump is going to do and how long he's got, because I reckon if Trump doesn't do something in the next 48 hours around crypto, then I think that this market could actually dump. That's what we're going to be talking about today. If you like that idea, obliterate the like button. Let's go. We're looking at Bitcoin at 105,000. And as I said, I think if Trump doesn't do something in the next 24 to 48 hours, then I think this market could actually dump, because we sat here and we waited for Trump to do something in the inauguration yesterday. I don't know about you. I was going to go to hot yoga yesterday, right? And instead of going to hot yoga yesterday, I postponed it because of the inauguration, because I thought something would happen. And I sat there and I was watching and I was watching and I was watching, just like you guys were. And guess what? Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Pretty much, we sat here just watching the inauguration. And so now the market's like in a panic, right? Because what they're asking is Trump actually going to fulfill his promises to crypto? And you can see that the odds of the strategic reserve have now gone down. Truth is, if Trump doesn't do something crypto related in the next 48 hours, how is this market actually going to hold? Because it's not like he did nothing yesterday, right? He did a whole lot of things. He signed a whole lot of executive orders. I don't know if you guys watched. He signed 42 executive orders. He implemented 115 personnel actions, more than 200 executive actions, 60 minutes of press Q&As, 3 speeches, and nothing about crypto. And remember that the market had huge expectations, because there were leaks in inverted commas, where we thought that Trump was going to sign to implement the to implement the strategic reserve, or to pass the executive order, and we got nothing. But he did set up the official Doge. He did sign the executive order. Here he is. He signed the executive order, which gave rise to the Department of Government Efficiency.
Governmental efficiency, known as.
Okay, that's a big one.
Is Elon Musk going to get a West Wing office?
No, he's getting an office for about 20 people that we're hiring to make sure that these get implemented. We have a problem in this country. You sign an executive order, it doesn't get done for 6 months. As an example, when we allow the J6 hostages to go out, it might not be approved under the old days for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 months. You know, they had a good ruling from the Supreme Court. And
so they started the Department of Government Efficiency. Now there's a Department of Government Efficiency website, and that's why the Doge token, but not the Doge, like the big Doge, the other Doge token, actually had a bit of a run. Speaking of a Department of Government Efficiency, I don't know if you saw this, but Vivek Ramaswamy, who was supposed to be with Elon in the Department of Government Efficiencies, looks like he stepped down. Now, I've read a lot of the articles, and doesn't sound like it sounded like there must have been some kind of disagreement, either between him and Trump or between him and Elon. Either way, something went wrong here, because the excuse that he used is that he's going to become the government, or he intends to run for the government of Ohio, the governor of Ohio. And so that is the excuse that he used as to why he stepped down from the Department of Government Efficiency. Anyway, so Trump did a whole lot of things. He declared a state of emergency at the border. I do think that that's maybe more important than crypto to him. He designated cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. I do think that that's more important than crypto. Military will be directed to construct a new phase of the border wall. That's all around immigration, probably more important than crypto. National energy emergency, probably more important than crypto. Terminate Biden executive orders on drilling restrictions, more important than crypto. Return federal workers to in-person work, more important than crypto. Pause all offshore wind leases, I don't know what that is. End DEI hiring practices in the federal government. I think that is more important than crypto. Order every agency to remove all federal actions increasing costs for Americans via deregulation. That is more important than crypto. Establish a Doge hiring freeze. That is more important than crypto. And leave the World Health Organization. That is more important than crypto. So I agree that most of the things that Trump actually signed yesterday, as a president of a country, to me, would be more important than signing the Bitcoin strategic reserve. But I don't think that's the reason why Trump didn't sign the strategic reserve yesterday. And now we get crypto like in a panic. So people are going, this is a huge year for crypto, pro-government crypto for the first time, biggest on-chain onboarding event we've ever seen, Bitcoin treasury being established, more companies purchasing Bitcoin, more ETFs on the way. Day one in the office, Trump didn't sign the executive order for the crypto bros. Top is in, everyone's utter losers. So some people are giving up. Other people have another thing. They are kicking the can down the road. I call this the frog in the boiling water. Why? Because initially you say, okay, if Trump comes into office on the first day and he doesn't sign the Bitcoin strategic reserve and he doesn't free Ross Ulbricht on the first day, then it's over for the crypto bros. One day later, Trump walks into office, nothing happened. Look, we've got confirmation that we're amongst the first 200 executive orders, and Ross Ulbricht is going to be renewed. It's just going to take a little more time. Those are the two camps right now. Some people given up, saying the top is in. Some people saying, look, he's got more important things that actually happened. Willie Woo says the Bitcoin strategic reserves needs buy-in from Congress and the House. Issuing an executive order on the inauguration day is a blunt way to execute this. The smart way is to assess the likelihood of success before pushing the go button. So people are now starting to justify why it did happen or didn't happen. That's pretty much where the market is now, right? I think I have another view as to what actually happened and why it didn't happen. I want to explain that view to you. But before I do, I need you to subscribe to the channel, because I know a lot of you aren't subscribed. I know you are not subscribed. What you need to do is subscribe to the channel. Can you go get my little... So I know you're not subscribed. Also, if you are here, I see 475 likes. Usually, by this stage of the show, there's like 1,500 likes. Let's go. Let's obliterate the like button so we can carry on. I'll explain to you now why I think that Trump didn't sign the Bitcoin executive order. And I'm going to give you 2 points of view. The first point of view that I want to give you is a very simple reality check. Signing a Bitcoin strategic reserve is not important for the United States. And it certainly isn't important for the United States when you compare it to all the things that I spoke about now. I know to us it's the most important thing, but if I was a president and I was coming to rule a country with the amount of problems that the United States has because of the Joe Biden and Kamala Harris administration, every single one of these things would be more important to me than your silly Bitcoin reserve, right? It's not a matter of national importance. I know that to us it is, but to Trump, it's not, okay? Let's just be honest, okay? If you went to your mom or, I don't know, someone who's not in crypto, and you said, hey, granny, hey, mom, these are the things that Trump did and he didn't put a Bitcoin strategic, where would you put a Bitcoin strategic reserve here? They would like, sorry, what's a strategic reserve and why do we need it? Right? So that's the first reason. But I do think there might be a second reason why, even if Trump was going to do it, why he didn't do it yesterday. And I think that the reason is this over here. When you look at the Trump token and you look at the Melania token, I think that these two tokens were the reason why Trump never spoke about crypto in his speech. I think that they launched the tokens. They expected the tokens to have a $5 or $6 billion market cap, or maybe a $10 billion market cap. Then this thing goes to $70 billion market cap. And Melania goes to $15 billion market cap. And together they've got a market cap of $80 billion. And I think someone in the Trump family said, just be careful, because these things are much bigger than we thought. In fact, in the crypto world, $70 billion and another $10 billion for Melania is actually seismic. If something happens, it's seismic. Also, the truth is, if you launched this token, you caught the whole world by surprise. Like, you caught the whole world by surprise, including yourself. And the worst thing that you can now do is get on the stage and actually pump crypto when everybody knows that 80% of the tokens around Trump are in your hands and 80% of the tokens around Melania are now in your hands. And so I think it actually would have been a political risk for Trump to actually get up there and, after the launch of Trump and Melania, actually talk about crypto in the inauguration day. I think that, remember one thing about Americans. Americans love to try and impeach presidents. They love it. Like, it's like a thing. Actually, Trump's actually been impeached, or they tried to impeach him a few times. First time, second time. Americans love to impeach presidents. It's how they show that the system is fair. They show that the system is fair by showing that, we even take on our own president and we try and fire our own president, right? That's what Americans do. And so I think Trump has to be very, 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 very careful, right? I think after the launch of Trump coin and Melania coin, because of the links that they had, I think if he would have got up in the inauguration speech, the biggest speech that the government has given, someone just sent me something about the SEC. Maybe it's got something to do with Trump. Let's have a look here. 5 billion AUM applied for Trump ETF today. What are you talking about? Okay, we'll get that. It looks like someone applied for a Trump ETF. Anyway, let's continue. So, as I was saying, you can't go in the biggest speech in the world, right? You can't go in the biggest speech in the world after you've just launched a meme coin where you and your cronies own 80% of the meme coin, and then you go and add crypto to the speech and pump up the meme coin even more. And so I think that Trump has to be accountable. Like, in the USA, the one thing that you can say is no one is above the law, except Hunter Biden, okay? But other than that, no one is above the law in the United States. And you can challenge a president. And I think that the biggest fuck up that we had, so you can't say fuck up on YouTube, okay? The biggest mess up that we had is that we had Trump and Melania launch on the weekend. And so I think that probably Bitcoin is not as much of a priority to Trump as it is for us. And B, I think that the launch of Trump and Melania tokens actually did us a whole lot of damage. So now we are in a position where we all feel neglected, right? As I said, like, I missed hot yoga for Trump. And I mean, for those of you who don't know what hot yoga is, it's basically like you go into a yoga studio and they blow like this hot air, like a sauna, into the hot yoga studio. And then basically you and a bunch of people, it's quite a weird mix of people, right? Generally, like, it's like, I'll tell you, like, the kind of people that you get in this hot yoga studio. So you get the absolute belters, then you get like the okay ones, then you get like these like gay guys that are wearing like leopard tights, and they take their shirt off in the hot yoga and they sweat. If you've been to hot yoga, I'll take you today to hot yoga and you'll see. Do you want to come with me to hot yoga today? Yeah. Do you have leopard tights?
No, I have normal shorts.
Normal shorts won't work, bro. You got to pick your thing. Anyway, so I missed hot yoga for this, and Trump didn't even. People that don't even know what hot yoga is. Okay, so as I was saying, now we need Trump to do something. And the next thing that we need Trump to do, since it's now clear that he's not going to sign an executive order around a strategic reserve, or maybe he will. In fact, there is a good chance that he will. We need him to free 𝗪𝗏𝗡. Now, the truth is that Trump actually did free a lot of people yesterday. He freed all the January 6th people. And I tweeted yesterday, I said, it's so important that Trump actually pardons 𝗪𝗏𝗡 now. And there's a good chance that he will, because Elon said Ross will be free too when they were speaking about what he did. Elon actually tweeted on the thing, he said, Ross will also be freed. So I think that Elon probably knows a little bit more than we know right now. And yeah. So I think the good thing for me, is when I now look at the markets, and I see that, the Trump token is back at 40 billion, still high, but and then you got Melania at 4.2 billion. Thing is, if you look at the market caps, because I was looking at fully diluted, but if you look at the market caps here, The Trump market cap is $7 billion. And the Melania market cap is now at 616. I mean, Melania is pretty much, she's ranked $616 million. She must be so upset with Trump, bro. She must be so upset with Trump. Anyway, or Barron. She's probably upset with Barron. Anyway, so what I'm happy about is that the market is back to not normality, but at least there's not so much of the liquidity that is now trapped in Trump coin and Melania coin. And I really, really, really hope that it stays like that, because I don't want those tokens sucking the liquidity out of the market at the moment, specifically not at a time like this where the altcoins are absolutely wrecked. I mean, when you look at the altcoin market, Sonic, after being up 11%, is at 61 cents. These altcoins are like in the dumps, except for Hyperliquid. I saw PopCat. This is a token that was at $2. It's now at 45 cents. The memes have been absolutely destroyed by this thing. If you look at the altcoins, if you look at the RSIs have completely reset. If you look at the 4-hour RSIs, for those of you who don't know, this is like the momentum indicator, the sentiment indicator. And you can see that the RSIs have pretty much, I'm not going to say bottom, because there's always lower to go, but they've definitely reset on the altcoins. And on the 12-hour, on the 4-hour, on the 24-hour, actually, see, let's check the 1 week. On the 1 week, I'm assuming they're also quite low. So the RSIs have completely reset, as you can see. But what I don't like right now is that Trump is completely in control of this market. When I say he's completely in control of this market, whether it's through the meme coins, sucking out the liquidity out of the altcoins, or whether it's through whatever World Liberty Fi is doing, because it really feels like there's two things moving the markets now. Well, it's one thing, it's Trump. Is he going to do a strategic reserve? Is he not going to do a strategic reserve? Is he going to, what is World Liberty Fi going to buy? And you can see that they've been buying ETH, they've been buying Bitcoin, they've been buying Aave, they've been buying Link, they've been buying Athena, and those are the only tokens that actually ran. So you're in a position now where Trump is in control of the market, right? But I think Trump's also been very smart in how he's played this. The strategic reserve is on Bitcoin. World Liberty is deployed on ETH, but also really buying up a lot of ETH-related protocols, Aave, Athena, etc. And the meme coins have been deployed on Solana. So now everybody is completely confused because Trump is in control of the market, but which chain? What should you be buying? And so we're getting a bit of a battle now between the ETH people who are saying, look, Trump loves ETH. You can see he bought $47 million worth of ETH, $47 million worth of Bitcoin, $4.7 million worth of Aave. By the way, I think I know what World Liberty Fi is doing. I can't confirm this, but I think I know what they're doing because I don't know where they got so much money from. They didn't raise this amount of money. I think they're doing token swaps with the big protocols. Mark my words, that's going to come out. That news is going to come out at some point because they didn't raise this amount of money. Where are they getting 100 million to buy Bitcoin ETH? Where are they getting 4.7 million to buy Aave? It will come out one day, very soon, that these guys were swapping their tokens for tokens in the big protocols. Remember, Rand told you. Bookmark this, yeah. Anyway, I think it's a great protocol, by the way. So someone says, I hold a big bag of soul. I won't let myself fall in love with it. It's been a great run. But from this point on, ETH is poised to outperform. Believe it or not, people believe it. ETH is poised to outperform. I think I've got a rogue here. Yeah, it's just one rogue here. Then you've got this guy over here who says, does Ethereum Inner Circle know that ETH is not a stable coin pegged to $3,500? And then Mike Duda says, I've abandoned ETH despite supporting it in the past. Yes, Ethereum has banned it. Its users supporting them in the past. The idea of sitting around jerking off, watching the burn and concocting purity tests while zero newcomers can afford the chain fees is gross. And then, you know what I thought? I just thought, like, okay, look, now I need to understand who is going to perform better, ETH or Sol. Because now I really thought, because everyone told me, and then I told you because everyone told me that like the seasonality is on ETH side. You know, Q1 is the best performing quarter for ETH always. January is the best performing month for ETH. ETH usually performs 30% in January. And so I thought I'd put this to the test. And so I went to Twitter and I asked two questions. I said, which one will perform better in Q1 2025? and which one will perform better in the entire year 2025. The reason why I did Q1 and entire year, because I wanted to play on the seasonality, because everyone's got this like thing in their heads that ETH has seasonality in January, right? And in Q1. And so I wanted to like debunk this myth. And I want to show you exactly. Sachin says he agrees with me today. Did you find the one guy who agrees with me in the whole chat? There's like one guy in the whole chat that agrees with me, and you've left this comment on for like 40 minutes already. Because it's one guy finally agrees with me. Finally agrees with me. Okay. So I wanted to know I wanted to debunk this thing, and I actually wanted to get to the bottom of who is going to do better, Sol or ETH. Trump is buying ETH, but he's launched his coin on Solana. So which one is going to perform better in Q1, and which one is going to perform better in the end of in Q1 in this last quarter of 2025, right? So in the year of 2025, which is the last year I think of the bull run. So I went and did all the analysis, right? And the first part of my analysis was around this seasonality, right? And I said, okay, well, the market says that ETH always performs well in Q1. Q1 is the best performing quarter for ETH. You can see specifically in the post-halving year, ETH performed very, very, very well in 2017 and very, very, very well in 2021. 160% in quarter one and 526% in quarter one. Okay, great. But what if I replace the word ETH here with the second blockchain, the one which people are actually using? And I didn't call it ETH. And I said, instead of ETH performs well in Q1, then let's just say the smart contract blockchain with the most users is the one that performs well in Q1 and in Q1. Then we could just replace the word ETH with SOL. And that would make a lot more sense in the charts, right? Because if I look at this move here in SOL from the bottom, in ETH from the bottom, this was the ETH bottom, which was $88.60. It was during COVID. And then ETH recovered 1,300% to this point in the cycle. And then from this point in the cycle, and I'm talking to you about 2021, ETH went up another 246%. But isn't that very similar to this chart over here, where Solana bottoms here at $8, takes us to 1 January, takes us to here, 2,350%, and then continues to climb up for the rest of the cycle. Doesn't this and this look very, very, very much like the same pattern, right? Here's the first pattern over here. Here's the second pattern. Here's the same pattern over here. You got this pattern over here, which looks very, very, very much like this pattern over here. And then I was like, hold on a second. Maybe what they mean is that ETH is not the one that performs well in the first quarter, but the smart contract blockchain, which is the most supported and most used smart contract blockchain in Q1, is actually the one that performs the best in the post-halving year. And maybe people just said ETH because in the past, all they had was ETH. Okay, but that wasn't enough for me. Okay, because that wasn't enough for me. I needed to get into the actual weeds. And so what I did was I actually did an analysis again. And I said, look, let me write all the ETH catalysts and let me write all the Solana catalysts. And let's look at the ETH catalysts. And then let's look at the Solana catalyst and decide which one is going to perform the best in Q1 and which one is going to perform the best for the rest of 2025. So let's start off with the ETH catalyst. The first ETH catalyst is Trump has ETH. World Liberty Fi has ETH, right? So Trump over here has ETH. You can see he bought $47 million worth of ETH, and Trump has ETH. And ETH has an ETF, which Sol doesn't have, by the way. So ETH catalyst, well, it has an ETF, and Trump has ETH. When it comes to ETH catalysts, let me just format this. I don't know. There we go. So when it comes to an ETF, there is an amendment which is going to happen to the ETH ETF, and the amendment is around allowing staking yield in the ETH ETFs. In the beginning, when we launched the ETH ETFs, they wanted to include staking yield, but the SEC, they realized that if they did, they said the exclusion of staking from these filings is necessary to meet the SEC's regulatory requirements. And so what they said is you can have an ETH ETF, but you can't have the yield, the staking yield. Now, it might not sound like a lot, but here with ETH, you lose 3.85%. And so when they put in the staking yield in the ETF, you could argue that a lot more Wall Street managers are going to say, okay, I'm going to put more money into it because I'm actually also earning a yield, right? That's the next thing. Then ETH has Coinbase, and Coinbase has agents, right? So ETH has Base. Base is, I don't know, one of the most used chains out there. And also the whole AI narrative is actually living on Base and actually on Solana. So you could say that ETH has Base, which Sol doesn't have. Base has agents. ETH also has a whole lot of new updates. I don't know if these updates actually mean anything, to be honest. They're like a whole lot of updates to eventually in 2029 get us to like a point where ETH can do like 5 transactions per second or something. It's like something stupid like that. Okay. ETH is the institutional chain, or it has been labeled the institutional chain. If you look at like what BlackRock says, let's just see if we can let's just go the 𝗪𝗢𝗙𝗢𝗪. You can see that ETH is the biggest RWA chain, and real world assets are pretty much where the institutions are playing, right? So BlackRock's 542 build fund is overwhelmingly on Ethereum. 𝗫𝗫𝗫𝗫 is on Ethereum. I highly doubt that ever changes. Societe Generale is building on ETH. UBS is building on ETH. MasterCard is building on ETH. So you could say that the institutional liquidity is actually on ETH. If you look at the facts, ETH has 72 billion in TVL, so in terms of liquidity on chain. Sol has 13 billion. And of the $209 billion of stablecoins, ETH has 53.8% dominance. So if you're looking for liquidity and if you're looking for TVL, then you really can't argue that the researchers are saying, well done, research team. Should we get into this argument now? So the question then really is, with all of these catalysts, can ETH actually beat Sol? And I think what you need to ask yourself is you need to actually look deeper and you need to ask yourself the same questions out of Sol. So we've gone through ETH. Let's really go through again. ETH has Trump. ETH has an ETF. They're going to change the ETF to include staking, and then stakers can earn a 3% yield. ETH has Coinbase. Coinbase has agents. There's a whole lot of new updates on ETH. ETH has the highest liquidity. ETH also has the highest TVL. And ETH has the highest amount of stablecoins. Let me just write that. ETH has most stablecoins. Okay, so that's ETH. Now let's look at what Sol has, because Sol, believe it or not, also has a few things actually going for it, right? First thing is, well, you can say that Trump owns ETH, but Trump launched Melania, and you know, like, it's okay if you launch yourself, right? But if you launch your wife on the wrong chain, bro, your wife will never forgive you for launching her on the wrong chain. Especially after the chart looks something like this, right? So yes, ETH has Trump. Trump has ETH, but Trump launched on Melania, and Melania launched on Sol. David Sachs, who's the crypto czar, well, he loves Sol. Okay, he loves Sol. He's not a big ETH fan. In fact, he was quoted on this video over here talking about how much. David Sachs is a major investor in Solana and thinks it can surpass ETH. That was on the All In podcast, and he's now the crypto czar. Then, I think we can say after this weekend that that Sol is really the only battle-tested chain. There's no chain in crypto in the world that has done 10% of the Nasdaq's daily volume in one day. No one has done that. No one's even come close. Not even ETH, not even with CryptoKitties, or not even with all their transactions ever came close to the number of transactions. So if you want a chain that's going to do the most transactions and is going to be cheap, well, then Solana is the one, right? Now, Solana should actually even get an ETF. There's a 90% chance that Solana is going to get an ETF. And whereas ETH may get a slight change in its ETF to include staking, the Solana ETF is a brand new catalyst which is going to bring in a whole lot of flows. And chances are it'll also include staking yield. And when it does, you'll realize that the staking yield on Solana is currently 7.14%, and the staking yield on ETH is 3.85%. Now, obviously, that's going to change. But what you can see right now is that if Solana does get an ETF, that is major incremental news, and it has double the yield. And so I think that there'll be, I think I agree with the analysts which say that there is there's $4 to $8 billion, there's $12 billion that can go into ETH versus $3.6 billion that can go into the Solana ETF. As a percentage, analysts are forecasting that Solana will have 5 times the relative inflow to market cap of ETH into a thing. Now, let's carry on with the Solana catalyst. Agents live on Solana. Solana is the winning chain. Look, this is the dominance in terms of agents. In fact, if you want to talk agents and infrastructure, Solana has got about double the agents that Base has got. So you can say that ETH has Base and Base has agents, but Solana has double the amounts of agents. Memes live on the Solana network. Retail lives on the Solana network. If you look at what retail is, look at Moonshot, which is the app that allows people to buy things on Solana. Look at Phantom, higher than Coinbase, because people were trading on chain. And so Solana really is the retail chain. Solana also has amazing upgrades this year. They've got FireDancer, which is going to make the validators a lot more decentralized, also going to increase the amount of transactions that they can do. They will release FireDancer, they'll fix congestion. They have several MEV systems, and so they do have a very, very, very strong and robust product roadmap. Sol is made in the USA, and you have to take a bet that at some point what Trump is going to do is he's going to do something for chains that are made in the USA. And Sol is made in the USA, whereas ETH is not made in the USA. ETH is made, I think, in Canada, or I don't know where I think the foundation's in Zug, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Institutions actually also love Solana. I know that maybe right now when it comes to real world assets, they're not winning. But if you look at all the institutions that support Solana, let me just try and find you something here. I had a tweet here which showed all the institutions that support Solana. So at Breakpoint, we had Franklin Templeton, Securitize, which is partnered up with BlackRock. We had Societe Generale, we had Citibank, we had Visa, we had PayPal. We had all launching on Solana. So you can't say that ETH is the institutional chain because as many institutions are launching on Solana. Sol has a higher staking ratio, as you can see, and it also has a higher yield. 64% of all Solana is staked and 7.14% at 7.14% yield. And so now you look at both ETH and Sol, and you've seen all the catalysts for both ETH and Sol, and you've got to make a call as to which token, which ecosystem is going to do better. And I think just to make it a whole lot easier for you, ask yourself some questions. Which DEX is going to perform better from now until the end of the cycle? Uniswap or Radium? Which perpetuals infrastructure protocol is going to perform better? Is it going to be Synthetics or is it going to be Drift? From a lending point of view or from a staking point of view, is it going to be Lido or is it going to be Jito? Paulo put in that cloud thing, right? After he told me to buy cloud and then he put it in here and then now look at it. You see? So who's going to perform better? Rocket Pool or cloud? Which oracle is going to perform better? Chainlink or Pyth? Got to ask yourself these questions. Let me summarize it for you like this. If you want to understand who is going to do better between now and the end of the year, I think you have to ask yourself a question. What is going to happen between now and the end of 2025? Is there going to be more retail adoption or is there going to be more institutional adoption? My theory as it relates to this is very simple. I think the institutions will definitely come. But I think it takes them a lot longer to come than it takes for the retail investors to come. We saw how quickly the retail investors came when we launched meme coins or when we launched Trump coin. Now the institutions will take years and years and years to actually move. So if you ask me who's going to perform better in the cycle, I think there's no question about it. I think Sol is going to kick ETH's ass. Simple, right? Specifically in the cycle. What happens after the cycle? Well, it just depends on what ETH can build. I'm obviously a much bigger Solana fan. I think Solana's cheaper. I think Solana's faster. I think the developers are hungrier. I think they make decisions much, much, much quicker. And so for me, I'm putting my money and my bets on Sol. Do I have an ETH bet? I do have an ETH bet because I like a diversified portfolio. But my Sol outnumbers my Solana outnumbers my ETH by about 10 to 1. Okay, that's pretty much the ratio of what I've got Sol to ETH. So I hope that's helped you. I hope you enjoyed the alpha. Before I let you go, I do want to remind you of a few things. Number one, I want to remind you that 𝗕𝗘𝗅𝗢𝗘 is running a crypto school. Yeah, I want you to just watch how amazing this crypto school is.
If you just implement everything that you'll be able to succeed, you should have all the tools at your disposal, everything. A lot of what I learned is from professional institutional investors, and I put that in the course. I think it's enough in there for you to literally go from not knowing anything or even being intermediate to being a professional trader advanced. But stay safe out there, don't over leverage, respect your money or it's going to find somewhere else to go. It will find someone else to look after it. Don't get too caught up in the hype, understand the psychological phases, everything that I covered. We finished with the extreme fear for the most part, so now you need to control the extreme greed.
So listen, 𝗬𝗪𝗧 is doing one of his last free whale schools. The course would normally cost you $3,000. You can literally get it for free. The way to get it for free is to go to this link below, the one that says Whale School. Click here, and you got to sign up before 7 days. You got a week. You got a week to sign up and get accepted. So do that. Also, remember, if you want to join Frontrunners, which is our group. Now, our group, as I said to you before, it's not a calls group. It's an education group. It's a trading psychology group. It's a news group. It's a calls group. Everything is in there. It's a community group. If you want 50% off for there's 24 hours left to get this 50% off. Click on this Frontrunners link. Anyway, I shall see you guys again tomorrow after hot yoga. Until then, trade well, my friends.